in this one. After the MG Owners Club race, then we go back to what will be touring cars. In what is fourth position, Lewis Campbell, then it's Dave Mellor ahead of Steve McDermott and Steve Darby's blue car as they head onto the centre straight for the first time and then start to work their way up towards the conclusion of the lap with David Mellor sitting firmly in the slipstream of the race leader. Is he going to try anything at Ritchie's corner? No, he's not. The brake lights come on at exactly the same time for Fergus Campbell as they do Dave Mellor. A rather smoky looking Martin Wills, who is heading at the wheel of his MGTF up towards Ritchie's corner. That looked as though he was just puffing out of the right hand side exhaust as he went up there. He's made good progress though in the end. Martin Wills up to 12th off the back of the grid, and up to 11th off the back of the grid is Phil Walker, so they've already picked up places. In the case of Phil Walker, 8 places. In the case of Martin Wills, 6 places according to the TSL timing screen, but everybody is safely around the first lap, and the squabble for the lead is just heading in towards the braking area for Agostini. Now Mark Baker's doing a really good job of managing to keep his MGF up on terms with the ZRs at this stage, and is bringing with him both Stuart Plotnick and then the orange car of Simon Kendrick and Paul Wisby with him as well, so nobody's really getting away in this one. Fergus Campbell under pressure from Dave Mellor still for the lead as they turn their way in towards the right-hander at Oggie's corner, and a slightly larger gap back to Steve McDermott, who sits there in 3rd position. Keen to make amends really is Steve from his retirement from the race earlier on today. He was not running at the time that the red flag came out. He, I think, was the driver that brought about that stoppage to proceedings. Don't actually know what happened to Steve McDermott. We'll work that one out when we read the race briefings and race reports later on this evening when we get back home. But in towards the breaking out for Brundle, and Nelson goes to the training car. Standing start, they'll be down to about 2 minutes 22, 2 minutes 23. David Mellor as he turns his way up towards the conclusion of lap number 2 before too much longer. 20-minute race, 15 minutes remaining. We only got 5 laps in the slightly shortened race earlier on today. We should get a few more this time. And Steve McDermott now in 3rd place has caught the leading pair. So it's 3 for the lead with Steve Darby's blue MGZR just that little bit further back. Still leading Class F is Mark Baker. As for the progress of the cars in the back of the grid, well, this time through, the only shuffle we've had so far in the order is for the 2 cars from the back of the grid changing positions. Martin Wills is up to 11th, and the other car that starts off the back of the grid, Phil Walker, is now down to 12th as the MGF goes ahead of the MGZR. There's also been a change further down the order. Number 12, Nick Golher now has got himself ahead of Jim Bainham. Jim Bainham dropping down to 15th, but more importantly is leading at this stage the classic class from David Ampford, who's 2nd in the classic class at this stage. So that's the number 2 car of Jim Bainham and the number 14 car of David Ampford, both of whom have been regulars in this championship for a very good number of years. Leading pack of cars turning their way through Agostini. Again, Steve McDermott was under pressure from the blue MGZR of Steve Darby. Nothing doing there still though, so the lead 4 in the same order that they were. Mark Baker wants to join in the fun as well with his MGF as they head through the right-hander at Oggie's for what is lap number 3 at this stage. Stuart Plotnick's just that little bit further back at the wheel of his white MGF and completing the top 6. Of course, he lies 2nd in his class at this stage. And for Stuart Plotnick, it is already 1 class win he's had. I don't think he appeared at Mallory Park for rounds 3, 4 and 5 of the championship, but he'll be hugely keen to see what he might be able to do. Martin Wills, who was, of course, starting off the back of the grid, has already had 2 non-finishes. time, couldn't quite tell on the cameras, now that the sun's getting ever lower, which car that was. Quite possible. Place, and we've got problems, I'm afraid, for Simon Kendrick, who's pulled his MGF off the circuit. Was that a big loss of a mistake? Yes, I think it is. He's down the track and will be able to continue. The car that had the grassy moment was Meninda Golhar, I think, now that I've been able to spot the car as it comes over the start-finish line. Meninda Golhar trying to attack Martin Wills on the approach towards Ritchie's corner. The lap time for Meninda Golhar suggesting that was, yeah, a little bit slower than the cars around him, so that could well have been the problem. Leading the classics at this stage is Bateman, and he has now opened quite a sizable gap actually between himself and David Amflett. So Jim Bateman, the dark green car with the familiar orange flash towards the front of it, has now managed to open up what's the gap between himself and David Amflett. It is going to be hovering around about 2.7, 2.8 seconds, so it's a reasonably comfortable gap that he's got. He's actually got another car between himself and the car that's second in the classics at the moment. But for the lead of the race, still 4 cars together with Mark Baker's MGF not that far away. Turning our way through Oggies, this is lap number 4. Last time through we saw a new fastest lap of the race for Fergus Campbell. He popped in a time of a 2 minute 22.484, 2:22.484. That's still about 0.9 of a second shy of the fastest lap that we saw in race number 1. But we've now got Steve McDermott looking to try and propel himself through and ahead of Dave Mellor, the number 17 car that sat there on the outside of the front row of the grid. Steve McDermott, then the blue car of what will be Steve Darby, all still together. And it is still Fergus Campbell that leads by just 0.2 of a second from David Mellor, who is just 5 tenths of a second ahead of Steve McDermott. He's got 5 tenths of a second to go on Steve Darby, and a further 7 off that's Mark Baker at 53 in 5th position. 5 Stuart Potnick is 6th. 7th is number 8 Paul Wisby. 8th is 44 Martin Wills from the back of the grid. 9th is number 29, which is Meninda Golhar, and then completing the top 10. Up to 10th this time through comes number 83 Phil Walker, who was dispensed with Adrian Alton. Number 3 who's dropped to 11th. Simon Kendrick, after his moment down at Murray's, number 42, is now running in 12th place. 13th place is Matt Gonzalez, who is at the wheel of number 33. Then it's Nick Golhar, number 12, that's in 14th place. 2 Jim Bainham, 15th place. 16th place is number 91 at this stage, which is Phil Rigby. David Amflett, number 14, is in 17th place. 18th place is Ashley Barnes, and the last of the runners was there in 19th position, but he's a little way off the pace of everybody else in this particular race. His lap times are about 13 seconds slower than the next car just up the road from him. Race leaders are already starting to head down the Bentley straight. Fergus Campbell still looking to try and hang on to this lead. Until today it had a stranglehold on the championship, and for the moment it looks as though he might lose out this time through as David Mellor gets a really good run on him this time, heading down the Bentley straight, and actually overtook on the left hand side of the circuit, which gives him the inside line by the time they get down into the braking area. Second place, David Mellor still in 3rd place, Steve Darby still in 4th position. lane. 5-second penalty. I haven't seen many 5-second penalties. Martin Wills, oh why am I not surprised, that receives a 5-second penalty for transgressing the circuit limits. Martin is one of the characters of motorsport. There are many around, but he is one of them. Very likeable guy, very likeable guy, Martin Wills, but he always tries his utmost and he always tries to wheels off which haven't really made progress in this race. It made earlier on, but that could be something to do with the smoke that's coming out.